Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Ellie Stein, and this is my video tip of the month for November 2024. It's called, What is Earthing and Does It Actually Help? Now, the context for this question is the explosion of chronic disease. There's what we call conventional chronic disease, things like heart disease, stroke, metabolic syndrome, and cancer. And then there's what we refer to as complex chronic diseases, the area of my focus, which is myalgic encephalomyelitis, long COVID, fibromyalgia, POTS, mast cell activation syndrome, chronic Lyme disease, etc. All of these chronic diseases are becoming more and more common. And despite spending trillions of dollars on healthcare every year and billions of dollars on medical research every year, we don't seem to be making progress. Why is that? And is there any hope for those who are suffering? If you've been watching this channel, you may have noted my motto, which is education, empowerment, and hope. So of course, I do have hope. Yes, there is hope for us, and I'm going to explain why. More and more evidence points to our modern lifestyle as being a major contributor to all chronic diseases, whether conventional or complex. And even though each of these diseases that I've named looks very different, like dementia and ME don't look the same, nevertheless, there are likely common upstream root causes for all chronic disease. When we're exposed to these causes, however, they affect each of us differently, and that's why we each develop different disorders. Our individual vulnerability includes things like our genetic makeup, our previous experiences, our lifestyle, and our environmental exposures. In this video, I'm going to focus on just one of these root causes, our connection with the earth. Now, by connection, I'm not referring in this instance to our spiritual or emotional connection to the earth, although that is very important to many of us. I'm referring to our bodily physical connection. Our species of humans evolved over a couple of million years, walking, sitting, and sleeping on the earth 24/7. As a result, our bodies learned to utilize the resources that we get from the earth. And what are some of those resources? Sunlight splits air in the upper atmosphere into positive and negative ions. Electrons from the negative ions are transferred to the earth every time there's a lightning strike. This makes the earth negatively charged. When we touch our bare skin to the earth, those electrons from the earth, of which there's an enormous supply, readily flow into our bodies. Like everything else that is freely supplied to us by nature, this negative charge is essential for health and life. Electrons, for example, power our electron transport chain. That's the function in the mitochondria that makes cellular energy, so critical to survival. In addition, something that you may not know is that because we're always picking up these electrons from the earth, and because electrons repel, it allows our blood and other fluids to move more easily throughout our bodies. And the good news is there's research to support everything that I've just shared. If you go to my November 2024 blog with the same name, you'll see some of the references there. One of the references is a review article summarizing the literature, and it reports that people who earth or ground regularly, touching their skin to the earth, develop decreased inflammation and pain, improved blood flow, improved immune function, improved sleep and energy, decreased stress, and increased protection from non-native EMF. I was really intrigued by this last one because it suggests that the more we ground ourselves to the earth, the better we're going to be able to tolerate the barrage of non-native EMF, things like electricity and Wi-Fi. So the question you might be thinking is, how do we increase our negative charge? This is divided into things we can do outside and things we can do inside. So outside is pretty easy. You just have to touch your skin to the earth. Those things like walking barefoot or in shoes with natural fiber soles, gardening, lying down on the grass, and especially wading in water are great choices. Touching the ground, the water, the sand, the grass, or even trees with your bare skin starts the flow of electrons. Soft, wet surfaces conduct better than hard, dry surfaces, and natural stone and gravel and concrete does transmit some electrons, whereas touching things that are not living, like a wood deck or asphalt, which is made out of petrochemicals, blocks the flow of electrons into our body. I had the question, how long should I ground or earth myself every day outside? When you start touching your skin to the earth, the electrons flow into your body right away. And literally within seconds, you start reaping the benefits. These electrons neutralize the free radicals that cause inflammation in our body. Now, after a short exposure, you're probably not going to notice too much of a change. To notice a change in health and well-being, you need to be very consistent. The Earthing Institute recommends earthing or grounding about 20 to 30 minutes a day minimum, and they stress that it's more effective to do a small amount every day consistently than to binge earth on weekends, for example, and then not touch the earth all week. Now, you might be thinking, okay, this is all well and good, but I have a job and it's inside and I don't get to touch the earth very often. Or I live in a very cold climate and I don't want to touch my bare skin to the snow and ice. So luckily, there are solutions. Even though most of us spend well over 90% of our time inside, there are devices you can purchase to keep the flow of electrons going while you're inside. Basically, they're conductive devices. This means that one end of the device has to be attached to the ground or the earth, either through a metal stake in the earth outside or through a prong that fits into a grounded electrical outlet. The other end of the device has to be touching your skin. Now, most of these devices are made of metal or they have metal threads running through them because, like water, metal is a great conductor of electrons. So the products you can buy include mats and pads, sheets, bands, patches, and even special shoes and socks. So in conclusion, earthing or grounding is one of the most overlooked health strategies we can employ. It's free and it lessens the impact of our modern indoor lifestyle. When the weather is good, it's as easy as sitting or walking outside in bare feet for 20 minutes a day. And evidence is emerging that earthing or grounding on a regular basis shifts health in measurable ways and decreases the progression of chronic disease. This is an example of ancestral living. Our ancestors were outside touching the earth 24/7, and the more we can emulate them, the better our health will be.